So hi everyone, today in this video we're gonna develop another mental model that obviously can be helpful for you since mentals are informations about how the reality works organized in a way that obviously your brain can absorb better and so you can use it in your process to so be a good decision maker. And then so as much more information you tend to have, higher probability you're gonna get as well someone that's gonna get prosperity. And prosperity is what everyone tends to like wherever is the field, so that you're trying to look for that prosperity. But then so what you have to look is so understanding how the mental model of this video gonna get applied in your life. We're gonna talk about the flywheel effect in the business, so how you can apply as a business owner the flywheel effect, and you can understand so how it can benefit you. And then so I would expect this video can have may trigger the enough interest on you to remain so viewing it, and I expect you to subscribe if you have liked the video, so I'm gonna get to you my points of views, my arguments, what so is the description, or you can apply it. And that's so I expect this to be enough to make you subscribe, to like the video, and in the end of the video, if you kind of reached it, and other type of videos so can make trigger your interest in that channel, that so can make you gain more insights. And then so today we're going to talk about and what is the essence of the flywheel effect. What do you have to understand? It describes how small consistent and efforts builds momentum over time, leading to so exponential success. And what is like a point? And like quick wins, this model focusing on long-term strategic growth by compounding small advantages. This was popularized first by Jim Collins in Good to Great, so it's in a book. It's used so by companies like the majority of the ones you tend to get modelized and you want to be like Amazon, Tesla, and Apple, and obviously all companies that dominated their specific niche, their specific industries. So, core concept of flywheel, what's the name? Has a lot in count what's so the way that the flywheel works. So, flywheel works, as everyone tends to know, is a heavy mechanical wheel that once set in motion becomes easier to spin and generates massive energy. It's much like it's much more harder to do initially, so the process step of making the flywheel work in comparison with that some type of unity of effort that you want to put in a flywheel as much more or much more in the time in comparison with now was when it starts a flywheel to work. It's gonna your effect's gonna be higher even if you put the same effort, because it depends on the context, the time that you put that effort. And then so in business, what this means that each success feeds into nets, and depending what's your situation, your context, the effort that you're gonna do is gonna so make it vary, what so will be the feedback that you're gonna receive back. So what you have to understand initially is, to make flywheel work initially is the type of stage that is hard. So that applies as well in business. Passing the scale, so the first phase of scale, the first phase of arranging clients and so being useful and being having this ability to validate the business. It's something that requires a lot of money, time, requires having contact, initial contacts, because now after so the first ones, social network starts growing and it starts so spreading like a virus. But what's harder is the virus getting so the first ones, because they're like more immune so to making experimentation. It's like following the innovation type of bell. That's a lot of majority of population just do after seeing other ones doing, and then so we have like in a spectrum of 100, just like 2.5 are like prone to experimentation, something that's new. And even them you kind of so can have like difficulties to get access to them. And then so what do you have to understand? Instead of relying on single breakthrough moments, business build a self-sustaining loop of continuous improvement. That's something as well that makes you be more sustainable. It's being building over the time, other than just expecting that you're gonna have a breakthrough in a moment. And then so what you're gonna have to look is examples in real life. So what's like the flywheel of Amazon? We have so consumers, As much more customers create more sellers to join. As much more sellers to join, better selection. As much more better selection, wars are created because lot sellers in a platform, more diversity. So better selection that the consumer can expect. As better selection as well tends to have wars, so it creates a dynamic between the sellers to make the product better. So what this can as well can create lower prices. Lower prices create more customers and the cycle goes on. It's like creating a loop that what is harder is to create the initial moment of the loop. But after the loop is created, you kind of create a system that is always refeeding itself, creating something sustainable over the time that is required, like a fuel of your site to always be putting so to work, as in comparison is manufacturing. You always gonna have the needs to what? Also have the needs to control, also have the needs to buy more inputs. In this system, not. It's a total system that you have only to manage to create initial, so the system, but the system refuels and works totally alone of your type of interference. So what was the hardest to Amazon is probably where arranging so the first type of moment sold to customers go access to platform, and probably as well arranging the first sellers to make it trigger for customers. But then so if they range people and consumers, if they get so the maintain good quality of products, they will so get more, so sellers will so go for the platform because there is a lot of demand. And then so the cycle created after this first moment too, in terms of platform of the Amazon, was so the creation of the first fan base of the first base of the clients and the first base as well of sellers, that then so the system worked with obviously some touch points that you have to get in attention still. We have as well the Tesla's innovation loop. We have what? Tesla's, what he has? Profits from premium models. These profits from medium models, they go for funds in research and development. In these funds in research and development, they create what? Better battery attach, so better type of components of attach. What does that type of components creates? More cost-efficient mass market AVs. And if we are more cost-efficient, more people will go for me. And more people go for me, more revenue I'm gonna have, more profit. If I remain so having profit, more barriers to entry I create for others, because I'm gonna get a lot of this cash to go again. So for funds and of research and development, creating even more tax that I can put patents and things that so makes it harder to enter. So basically, what this Flywheel, what this creates, it's like the difficulty that you face is always the first stage. After you create the system, you already have obviously depending what's the architecture of your system, but it has a tendency to make it and work it alone, and you have to look in doing it. Automation tends to be good, and then so it's something that can create. Another example, other type of business, content marketing strategy. If you create valuable content, what this creates engagement, more engagement. As more engagement happens, more people will perceive your product with trust. As much as something is perceived with trust, more leads as well will go for your product. As more leads go, more sales. As more sales you have, more revenue you're gonna get, more profit, more content investments you tend to have, and so more valuable content you're as well gonna so provide. And that's why this type of flywheel effects creates what? Monopolies, oligopolies. It creates barriers to entry that the new type of people are difficult to fight it. And it's something that you have to accept. But obviously you have to understand this probably is a high barrier that you know if you beat, you're gonna be able so to sustain in that market. And that's something that you're gonna have to look. So how to apply the flywheel effect? Identify the key drivers that fuel growth and reinforce each other. Remove friction points that slow down progress, inefficiencies, poor customer experience, and keep pushing this momentum takes time, but once built, it leads to an unstoppable type of growth that you have to look. What's like the thing that's useful is so understanding how to start the moment, and then so identify the key drivers is like the most important thing. And after we'll say that as well, the second most important thing is so creating a system that is constantly refueling and so-called creates the unstoppable growth. So it's something that you have to look, because in Amazon's flywheel, more customers, more sellers to join. But what is the first? Why? To have more customers, it requires you to already have what? Have already things, have already sellers that have so good type of products at lower prices. But for them to go, they require as well, will not spend time to go for customers. So where is the start of the cycle? It's the type of thing that it's can probably it's the most difficult so to look, and that's where you have to understand what is so the best choice to do. It's easier to arrange first the consumers or sellers. I will say there are the sellers, because to arrange customers first it's difficult, because what's like the value that you can provide if doesn't exist any type of sellers. If you arrange first the sellers, you can be able, if you obviously as well require your competitive advantages, because probably I will say that it's easier for you to be someone that's good in creating content and creating things that so attracts the customers, and then so if you already have the sellers, you just do the match. Then probably is so you alone producing enough produce that triggers the enough type of information that will make so have a good type of quantity of customers type of basis that so you're gonna start your business. So it's understanding what so is a thing that has lower barrier entry to kind of catch is the first one that you have to focus, and as well understanding where you're strong enough so then make so meet this type of need that the first type of trigger in that cycle needs, so to have enough motivation to make what you want. So I expect this video as make you gain certain type of insight, and I expect you have liked so enough to put subscribe in this video, and as well see other ones that may trigger your interest. So with that much more to say, thank you and see you in the next one.